Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, I'd like to call the Air Pollution Control Board for Ventura County opening and in session. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Board Member Bennett.
Here.
Board Member Brogy. Board Member Foy. Board Member Long.
Yes.
Board Member Morgan.
Yes.
Board Member Parks.
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez. Board Member Sharkey. Board Member Zaragoza.
Here.
And I'm present as well. And so our first item. So we're up to item 3, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And will Supervisor Long please lead us?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 4 is the minutes from our meeting that was held on September 12th. And a motion would be in order to approve them.
So moved.
A motion, a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meetings are approved. Item 5, agenda review. Any changes or reordering of the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the agenda as published. Item 6, public comment. Do we have any public comment cards? Okay, no so far. Item 7, board comments. Any reports from board members?
We had an interesting meeting of the Rotary this morning when some consultant, I'd say lobbyist, from the oil industry was there to talk about oil and how much it affects everything and so on and so forth. I'm going to have an electric guy come back and talk to us next meeting and show us what electricity actually does. But he was indicating, no, tankers don't go in that, out here in the channel. I said, you're wrong. Tankers go out there. No, it's just the ones that carry the container. No, you're absolutely wrong. I said it was our highest polluters until we fixed it. And so there's some things you have to kind of listen and take for granted and then go make sure you're right. And I was right. They're still going through there. So anyway, hopefully they'll give a presentation on electricity where we are now to the Rotary.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Just, you marked Jonathan Sharkey as a yes, and he wasn't here. I'll just point out on that last vote.
He does what? I'm sorry.
He is not
Jonathan,
attending.
yeah.
They marked him as voting yes.
They were not here.
Approving
Yeah.
the minutes.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd have fuller attendance because one of our items needs 6 votes, but we're there if it's unanimous. One thing I'll bring up is I noticed that United Airlines suspended flights to New Delhi, India. I'm sure APCD's heard about that. The reason being that the smog was that bad that they didn't even want to fly the airplanes in there. It just makes me so thankful that we've come so far here. You know, I still remember growing up as a kid having smog, not quite that bad, but enough that you couldn't see the hills.
Where did you grow up?
San Gabriel Valley.
If you were in LA, which I was there for 6 months where we had housing here, you couldn't see the mountains.
Yeah, same thing in
And
San
so
Gabriel
it's
Valley. You knew
as
they were
bad as
there.
India is now.
Also, along that same note, I guess there was just a release of a document that shows that greenhouse gas emissions, which had leveled off over the last couple of years, have now reached their highest in 2017 and are expected to go higher in 2018. So it just kind of grounds us all with realizing what our mission is here, too.
Well, I'm glad we're doing our part.
One thing I would like to say on the Mission Rock, I received a letter, I think it was sent to Mike Villegas, in regards to air quality and the report that was put up. I didn't see that in the corresponding information, so I just wanted to mention it.
We'll be bringing that one to your board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other comments, we'll go ahead and move on with our agenda. And item 8 on our agenda is approval of 28 grant funding requests totaling $2,576,268 for new air quality projects under the Carl Moyer Memorial Air Quality Standards Attainment Program. Mr. Villegas.
Chair Pollack, members of the board, I just wanted to introduce our new Carl Moyer engineer, Tyler Harris. He's been taking over this program, and I'll have some good news. I'm going to brief you on some legislation, but it looks at the next meeting, but it looks like this program will be expanding in the out years.
Great.
Good afternoon, Chair Pollock, members of the board. My name is Tyler Harris. I'm an air quality engineer with the district. The Colorado program provides incentives for businesses to replace older diesel-powered equipment with new lower emissions equipment. The program is funded with a portion of the $12 DMV smog abatement fee, a $2 vehicle registration surcharge, and a portion of the $1.75 per tire disposal fee. This is the 19th year the district has administered Colorado grant program. This year, we've received applications to replace a total of 65 tractors, repower 5 marine vessels, and repower 1 piece of construction equipment. Staff evaluated each piece of equipment and ranked the costs and benefits of its replacement against others in terms of dollars per ton of pollution reduced. We are recommending that your board approve funding for $2,576,268 for the most cost-effective projects. The grants would help pay for 32 new lower-emission farm tractors, 6 agricultural forklifts, and 3 new lower-emission propulsion engines for 2 marine vessels. Projected emission reductions totals for today's recommendations are 27.8 tons per year of ozone precursors, 1.2 tons per year of diesel particulate matter, and 271 metric tons per year of CO2, a greenhouse gas. Staff will administer the grant agreements and ensure contract requirements are met before making grant payments. We are also requesting authorization to make any necessary minor administrative changes to the grant agreements, subject to approval by County Council. That's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yes. Any questions?
We need Stephen.
Yeah, so
We need Stephen.
yeah, in fact, for this item and the next 3 items, we need 6 affirmative votes.
Let me see. Let me see.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome aboard.
Thank you. I've been with the district for 5 years, but just assigned to this.
Now just assigned to that. Wonderful.
We're just going to try and assemble a quorum here so we can take action on this.
We were trying to stall.
Yeah, our first 4 items require 6 affirmative votes, and
Did
we're
we
just
move
at that
approval?
threshold. We have not, so
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're all affirmative.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Harris, and welcome to your new assignment.
Yep, welcome.
Item 9 is approval of an authorization for the Ventura County APCD to provide a Clean Air Fund grant up to $60,000 to the city of Ojai to convert its landscaping equipment from gasoline to battery electric. Welcome.
Chair Pollock, members of the board, Stan Cowan, air quality engineer. We have the mayor from Ojai here today, and he's going to say a few words in support. Basically, last May, the Clean Air Fund Advisory Committee recommended this project, and your board approved funding it at $60,000 this past June to convert gasoline-powered landscaping equipment to battery electric equipment. On August 8th, the City Council authorized their city manager to execute the grant agreement that's before your board. And then on September 18th, the Clean Air Fund Advisory Committee met again to review that contract, and it gave it the recommendation as well. Equipment to be replaced includes leaf blowers, hedge trimmers, weed eaters, pruning chainsaws, pruning pole saws, push mowers, and 1 riding mower. Excluded are heavy-duty chainsaws, which are needed for larger jobs like removing fallen trees that need to continue to be gasoline-powered. The grant agreement has 4 main conditions. First, the maximum grant award is up to $60,000, which is used to reimburse city's actual costs. Secondly, half of the costs will be reimbursed right away, and then the other remainder will be at the end of the demonstration period. This is a demonstration project that will be used. The city of Ojai is going to go around to different jurisdictions, different cities, and say what a great job they did, and hopefully this project will grow across the county as well. They do need to recycle their old replaced equipment, and they need to use the equipment for at least 5 years life of the battery equipment. And finally, up to 10% of the grant amount may be used for consulting services to assist with the city's procurement of the grant-funded equipment. If you approve this project, please authorize the APCO to sign the grant agreement, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Yes, Ms.
Yes,
Long.
I had one question. So do we just transfer over the money, or is it a transaction where they give us receipts and then we pay?
Yeah, they have to submit an invoice
Okay.
containing actual costs of equipment they've purchased, and then we reimburse them for those costs.
I figured there was some tracking mechanism
Oh, yeah,
because of the
definitely.
grant, so I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Okay, any other questions? Yes, Mr.
No, no question. I'm just going to make a move that we accept the staff's recommendation.
I'll second.
Was that a second?
Yes.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it is approved. Thank you. Item 10 is adoption of a resolution approving the addition of one new APCD management assistant for clerical confidential position allocation effective November 14 for a fixed 2-year term commencing on the date of hire.
Yes. Our
Ms.
management
Reeves.
assistant 4 has been on leave of absence for over 2 years. And due to the uncertainty of her returning to work, she's chosen to file for a non-service related disability retirement. Speaking with the Visera staff, this process could take 2 years or more to complete. While the retirement application is pending, this employee is seen as employed by the district, even though we are not funding the position at this time. For the past 2 years, we've utilized temporary staff to fill this position, but it's been difficult to find highly qualified workers. It's been challenging for the district to continue producing high-quality board materials and our monthly newsletter. To alleviate the problem, we're recommending creation of a fixed-term 2-year management 4 position with the district. It's more likely we'll get better qualified candidates with a longer employment term. And after the disability, non-service related disability retirement's been approved, we would move forward to delete the fixed-term position and fill the regular full-time position. I do need to add that if this retirement application is still pending 18 months from now, and we're hearing that the likelihood of our regular employee returning to work is still very low, I'm going to come to your board and ask that we turn the fixed term into a regular, because the reality would be we're only going to have one MA4 at a time, even though we would have technically 2 positions on the books. Your board standing committee reviewed this proposal at their September meeting and recommended approval. I'll be happy to take questions.
Okay. This is a recommendation of the standing committee, so it doesn't require a second. Are there any questions? Okay. Those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it is approved. Thank you. Item 11 is adoption of a resolution approving the deletion of one vacant position classified as APCD Manager, Public Information Services.
Yes, the district's public information position was filled by a manager, and they retired at the end of 2014. I postponed filling the position until we got a good handle on the outlook for our federal funding via the EPA grant and to review the job specifications and responsibilities. The manager in the past used to supervise a public information specialist. However, that position was eliminated in 2006 due to budget constraints. We've determined that we believe the public information work can be handled at a lower classification and in a non-management capacity. Therefore, we're proposing to delete the vacant manager position and add one new public information specialist position. This action would save the district over $16,000 annually. And with the recent environmental concerns being raised in some of our communities, I could really use the assistance in my outreach with these communities. And this person would be a big help to me in the district. Your board standing committee reviewed this proposal and recommended approval. And lastly, $16,000 isn't a lot of money. When you take many actions to reduce over time, you stay with a healthy budget. And we just recently learned that NRG is proposing to shut down the Mandalay facility. That's units 1, 2, and unit 3, which I didn't think would occur, but that's going to be a definite hit on the permit fees side. So there goes the savings, but
Mr.
we'll
Chair,
just keep at it.
Michael, did you say they're going to shut down the big plant, or?
But units 1 and 2 are the 2 utility boilers. Those are the large, that's the large plant at Mandalay. There's 2 boilers that go into one stack. And then unit 3 is some very old aeroderivative turbines that actually could never meet best available control technology. So they have a permit that very much restricts their hours. They can only be operated a few days a year. And they're going to shut those down also, so.
Yeah, interesting. So are they going to dismantle it?
That I don't know, no.
Next step.
I'm not hearing that from what I read.
I mean, it just, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, absolutely. Any other questions on this item? Okay. And again, as a recommendation of the Standing Committee, this doesn't require a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Okay. Item 12 is a public hearing regarding the adoption of a resolution establishing fiscal year 2017-18 service rates and fees for the Air Pollution Control District effective November 14, 2017. Mr. Villegas.
Yes. Pursuant to Health and Safety Code, the district is authorized to recover our costs for services in the form of fees when we provide services pursuant to the federal and California Clean Air Acts. The amount of revenue we collect from the service rates and fees is dependent on the amount of services required. And there's 3 main types of charges in our service rates and fees. First, the service hourly rates, the duplication fees, and lastly, miscellaneous fees. Service hourly rates represent the cost per hour of a particular worker classification, including salaries and benefits and allocated overhead. Duplication fees are associated with duplication for processing Public Records Act requests and subpoenaed records. Miscellaneous fees, couple fees for bad checks and witness fees. When you look at the service rates, the real important one is the air quality engineer, and it's broken into 2 different rates. And the one that really matters, and the lion's share of our fees are charged under, is the rate that we utilize for an engineer processing permits. Under Health and Safety Code, for permitting work, there can be no increase greater than 15% in any year. The other engineer rate is for an engineer not working directly on permits, and that increase is limited by the California Consumer Price Index under California Health and Safety Code. And today I have good news. There's no increase for either engineer rates, and the one that really matters, like I said, is the rate for permit processing. For our other positions, similar to the non-permit work engineer, increases are capped at the California Consumer Price Index. And for our air quality specialists and our air quality instrument technician, the increase in costs for us on an hourly basis exceeds the California CPI. Therefore, they're going to see a 3% increase to California CPI for those 2 positions. Looking at duplication charges, we're recommending an increase from 17 cents per page to 18 cents per page. And just want to note, for Public Records Act request, we do not assess any charge if it's 9 pages or less. And many public information requests can be responded to electronically, so that the fees don't even come into play. And we're not proposing any other changes to the miscellaneous fees. Therefore, staff is recommending that your board adopt the attached resolution and approve Schedule A.
Okay. This is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing at 2:02. Do we have any speaker cards? No speaker cards?
I have a question. So this is consistent with the fees that the county charges also?
What we do on permitting, we bill you based on the hours for the permit. With smaller permits, they pay a flat rate, but Basically, you pay for the amount of staff time spent processing your permit, and that can range from anywhere from something very straightforward like a dry cleaner to a power plant where a man-year can be
I'm sorry,
expended.
I was thinking of it in terms of the Public Record Act requests.
Yes, you're allowed to, you can't pay for pooling records. When they identify a record, this is consistent with county council, as I understand it. When they request a record that you have in-house, you cannot charge them for the time to pool those records. But if they ask for copies of that material, you can charge them actually the cost of copying.
So what I'm wondering is if the cost of copying is the same cost that it is at the county? For their
That I'm not
cost of-
sure.
Could I find that out?
Sure.
Because it makes a difference if we're charging like twice as much, for
Absolutely.
example, or something like that. So you want to keep them all in the same nice low range.
Okay,
So
we'll do
I'd
that.
like to be able to get that. So I'll be happy, conceptually move this unless we find out that there is that disparity. I don't know how we can do that unless we can find out today or.
Yeah. I'm not sure that
Not
not right now,
likely,
no.
huh? Okay.
But we could bring this back in December if you'd like, or,
If it's not time sensitive.
I think that would work.
Or you could just pull that particular item out and approve the rest of it, and let's make sure that the copying charges are the same.
Okay, Mr. Zaragoza, you have a question?
I agree with the supervisor that maybe that's just that one item, we can approve the rest of the items, and then bring back that just a one item that,
yeah. Or, I was just thinking about the resolution and the Schedule A. Maybe we just bring this back in December because everything's written with,
oh,
The resolution in
Okay.
mind.
Yeah,
And
that would-
it doesn't affect your
it's not
your
going
business.
to, no, I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Jeff is looking up something.
I've
Something
got-
the clerk of the board would know,
Yeah.
their office, I would think.
So you're going from 17 cents to 18 cents?
Yes.
Per, yeah. Yes, yeah, I know it.
I may.
So what's the pleasure of the board? Do we
I
want
think,
to?
Jeff, are you looking up something now, or?
I'm trying to look it up. I mean, we charge, the flat copy fee is the GSA, what the GSA charges, so it's going to be the same whether it's a county agency or APCD.
So it's the same.
The cost associated with the $18 is the 3% GSA charge for the copy, but then the direct labor is the extra 15.2 cents.
Yeah.
That is based on the staff. So the methodology is the same as the county. It's the staff that's going to be making the copy. So the price may be different, that staff time 15 cents, because it's an APC manager or a tech versus someone in my office might be a fiscal tech that's doing it. So the cost may be different, but the methodology is the same. For the per copy charge, it's the same whether it's
It's the same.
Well, and
my
that-
office or
That is the question I
Mike's
have.
office.
If
Yes.
the per copy charge is the same throughout the county as it is with APCD.
the methodology would be the same.
yeah, what we
The
did is.
methodology, but I want the price of the
Yeah,
copy is
yeah.
the same.
What we did is we had a Office Assistant 3 run a pile of copies, and they noted the time to do that many and said, okay, it's about that much. And that's just, it wasn't terribly scientific, but it was probably the best we could do.
And it's just, in other jurisdictions, for example, that has become an issue,
Okay.
is how much they're charging for you to just get a copy of a public record. And I understand you pay for the staff time to pull, get the information, but the actual copy charge is where the issue has come up.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's just something I think if we can keep it consistent, that would probably be good for
Yeah,
us.
I agree.
To answer your question, I would say yes, that is consistent. The 3 cents charge is consistent across all agencies,
Okay.
whether it's APCD or
Okay, if
my
that's-
office, CEO's office.
Okay, if
That
it is 3 cents,
consistent.
then I'm good with it. If
That's
we're
good.
all doing 3 cents, that works for me. So knowing that it's 3 cents, I'll go ahead and move the recommendation.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, let me close the public hearing, and I have a motion and a second.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion is passed. No, thank you for asking. Item 13 is receive and file the minutes for the South Central Coast Basin-wide Air Pollution Control Council meeting of March 29.
Just real quick, Mike, remember, we're going back up November 30th?
Yep, we're doing back again.
I look for Mike.
Yeah.
Have at
And
it.
I gave a presentation on the request for EPA to adopt a ultra-low NOx standard for heavy-duty trucks. I don't have a lot of optimism that's going to incur now with the new EPA. And also gave a brief on some changes, and I'll be coming to your board in December with a legislative update. There was a lot of activity during this session in the California legislature. I'll let you know, I kind of hinted that Carl Moyer is going to be expanding. A lot of changes out there, and I'll be coming back with you, and then Mike and I will be headed up again to discuss these issues with Santa Barbara and San Luis APCDs on November 30th.
And we no longer have Mr. Larry Allen there. He's gone, right?
Yes.
He retired? Yeah, so we no longer have, from San Luis Obispo. Sometimes his opinions were a little adverse anyway. The people out of, where was that place down there? Pismo Beach.
Yes.
All those people were affected by some of the things he was trying to do for the economy of that area.
Okay, so this is a receive and file item.
Make the motion?
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I don't know why we didn't handle all three items, but we have a correspondence agenda with two items that can be handled with one motion.
So moved.
Motion. Have a
One
second.
motion.
One motion, a second to
Second.
adopt our correspondence agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, it's approved unanimously. And that brings us to the end of our agenda.
When's the next meeting?
Our next meeting is on December
December 12th?
December 12th. And we do have a meeting of the standing committee afterwards, but the board is adjourned.
Okay.